Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, I'm still sick. Yeah, I've been saying that for quite a few videos lately, huh? Yeah. But I did go to the doctor, and the doctor gave me this, azithromycin tablets. Yeah. This is made by, I think it said it was made by Pfizer. Yeah, it's basically antibiotics. So for 5 days, I've got to take these tablets, 2 on the first day and then 1 every day thereafter. So yeah, 5 days worth of antibiotics. Now, if that helps, that'll be great. But it could be more than just that. We'll see. So we got to wait. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm still inside. I'm going to be inside for a bit because of that. And yeah, you can still hear it in my voice. It's still a little raspy. It's not quite where it should be. Anyway, let's talk about some stuff about e-bikes today. Yeah, I got an email. A text, not a text. What is it called? A message. Yeah, I got a message from somebody on the videos, and so they asked what would be my recommendation as the best bike they can get for a specific purpose. So it got me thinking. I did answer the question, but I thought I'd mention it here too. You know, if you ask me something like, you know, what is the best bike I would recommend for something, I need to know more than just that. Okay, I got to know certain things. Okay, so let's cover how do you pick a bike for yourself, and you know, how does one make that decision? So the first thing I asked back, I says, well, first off, okay, this person mentioned that they were shorter. Okay, that was the only information that I got. So pick a good bike for them. You know, that's really hard to do, even just with just that little tidbit of information. So I came back and I said stuff like, well, how heavy are you? What are you riding on? Are you riding on the streets? Are you riding up and down hills? You know, and they also said that they wanted to travel 60 miles. Okay, so the first thing I said was, well, okay, if you're going to go 60 miles and not knowing whether you're going to throttle all the way there or whether you're going to pedal it, or what are you planning on doing, it's kind of hard to make that recommendation, right? Now, we do know that if you take a look at bike specifications, many of the manufacturers will tell you how many miles you can go on their bike. And we could go 50 to 80 miles. No, you can't. For the majority of the people, they can't do that 50 to 80 miles. No, they can't do it. I mean, if you read some of those specifications, you know, that tell you how far you can go, yeah, you can probably take that and divide it in half. I think that'd probably be a safer thing. So if they're telling you 50 to 80 miles, figure you might be able to do 25 to 40. Yeah, I think that's actually more realistic. So how did you come up with these 50 to 80 miles? Well, those are under ideal conditions. You know, a fairly light person going straight, not turning, not going up and down hills, pedaling the entire time, using the very lowest motor assist, right? A pedal assist, using the motor. So pedal assist level 1 out of 5. Okay, if you do stuff like that, oh, and you're not going really fast either. Okay, if you do all that, you might get your 50 to 80 miles. Now, to me, if I'm gonna buy an e-bike, I'm not gonna be doing 8 or 9 miles an hour. Okay, I'm gonna go a lot faster than that. So if you go based on their specifications and you think you're gonna get that 50 to 80 miles, yeah, you're not gonna. All right, nobody buys an e-bike and crawls on it. Okay, people usually will speed a little bit more because okay. Let's say you normally ride 5 to 8 miles per hour. Let's say you are really slow on a regular bike. Okay, the minute you get the e-bike, you're not gonna do 5 or 8 miles an hour. Okay, you might do 8 to 10, 8 to 12. Okay, you're gonna go faster. You're gonna go, wow, this thing is really helping me a lot. Let's see where it goes, and then you'll move it up a little bit. Okay, maybe you don't feel as comfortable doing 15 to 30 miles an hour, but you'll go a little faster, right? Well, right there and then you're gonna go past that specification. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so when she said, I'm assuming it's a she. I'm not positive, but let's say it is. 60 miles, in my mind, I said, oh, this person's going to need a second battery to do that, okay? I mean, you got 30 miles going in one direction, 30 miles going back. Later on, she told me that she feels that she can go 30 miles and then charge the battery up, come back another 30 miles. Now, if you're going to work, it takes you 30 miles to get in one direction. you could bring the battery in, provided that your battery is removable on your bike. Not all batteries are removable, but most of them are. You can bring that inside, charge it up. Yeah, you're working 8 hours, charge it up, pop it back onto the bike, do another 30 miles, get home, okay? That's possible, all right? However, I didn't know that information, so I said, if you're gonna do 60 miles, you're probably gonna wanna buy a second battery. Yeah, strap on a second battery to the rear rack or something like that, and then when your bike is out, pop in the other battery, okay? Now, the one thing I've always done is keep track of how far I've gone in terms of mileage. If I'm going someplace, let's say I'm gonna do 60 miles, okay, for that total day, I gotta make sure I don't pass 30 miles. If I go past 30 miles, yeah, the cough is about ready to come up. If I go past 30 miles, I might not make it back. Yeah, you got to know the mileage on your bike, on your battery. Okay. All right, hold on for a second. Yeah, let's get some. Yeah, yeah. That's one thing with this cold or problem, whatever I have, that's causing me to cough a lot. I got to keep hydrated, otherwise, yeah, I'm going to start coughing again, especially with your throat when you're talking so much. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll keep that close by. So, yeah, you don't want to go past the halfway point. You might not make it back home. That's the whole thing. Okay, so what else did I say that you need to do? Okay, so I said to her, says, okay, you need to probably buy a bike that maybe is a step-through bike. She mentioned that she was shorter. She was under 5 feet tall. So I said, yeah, you probably want a step-through bike. I also said, too, that, you know, you want to make sure that whatever bike that you choose is able to do what you want based on the terrain that you're riding. So she mentioned that she's going to probably ride on streets. So that's fine. You know, the tires that you use, and we didn't go into this depth on her answer, the answer I gave to her. But the tires you want to be easier free riding tires, okay? For me, if you're riding strictly on the streets, you can get thinner tires if you wanted to. And there's less rolling resistance if you do that, all right? So maybe a commuter style bike that maybe has the, 2¼ inch tires or something like that might be sufficient. 2-3 inch tires, something that would be fine. Should you ride the 4-inch tires? Yeah, you could. I personally like riding the 4-inch tires. They're less nimble. Now, what I mean by nimbleness is the fact that, you know, if you have to make a quick turn, you know, a quick thing to go around some obstacle, you can maneuver that bike really quickly on a thinner tire than it is on a fatter tire. The fatter tire bikes won't move quite as quickly as the thinner tire bikes. It cuts better, right? So, but I still personally prefer riding on the fat tires because they kind of take up more bumps and stuff. So if you're riding and your terrain is a little bumpy, it takes it up better. So, but just keep in mind that you have rolling resistance at 4-inch fat tires, and so it's going to eat into that mileage. Okay, all right. And so then I asked whether you needed a bike that was a folding bike or a non-folding bike. And if portability is more preferred, or something that's maybe a little lighter in bike, maybe a folding bike would be preferred. Now, not all folding bikes are lightweight, because many of the folding bikes are just as heavy as the regular non-folding bikes. But if space is a concern, folding bike. Like, for instance, if you're gonna ride and go to the office and you're not parking your bike outside, you're gonna bring it inside, maybe a folding bike would be better. So you ride your bike inside, fold it up, push it into a corner somewhere, okay? And if you're not looking for a folding bike, a full-size bike might be okay, but again, it's gonna take up more space. So it's something that person has to decide, you know, what they wanna do. So now, as far as things like gears and all that, I mean, I remember when we were younger, we used to think about, oh, I want a 10-speed bike. Oh, this one's got 20 speeds. Oh, that's even better. It doesn't matter that much, okay? Because you've got a motor that's going to assist you. And I mean, if you're going to climb up and down hills, and she says that her terrain is not hilly, then the gears become an issue, all right? But most of the e-bikes today have at least like a 7-gear speeds, so you have the ability to pedal better when you're going up a hill a little bit, or pedal a little bit less, if you know, whatever. But If you're a person who goes fast or you plan to go fast, then you might want to look at a bike that has a different type of gear ratio, because the faster you go, sometimes you do a thing called ghost pedaling, where the motor's helping you so much that your legs, as you're pedaling, doesn't even keep up. So you're moving your legs, but you're really not helping anything in terms of the ride itself. So you want to look at bikes that have less ghost pedaling ability. Now, typically, if we're talking about that, you're looking at a gear ratio of maybe, I think most of the bikes are maybe like 44, 48 tooth in the front, and then in the back it might have something less. If you want less gear problems when you're pedaling, if your rear gear has like 11 teeth, that's probably good. That's a smaller amount of in the cog, smaller amount of teeth. That means that you will be able to pedal. It'll be harder for you to pedal, which means your ghost pedaling will be minimized. And if the front section is, say, one of them's 44 and the other one's 52, the 52 will have less of the ghost pedaling because it'll make it harder for you to pedal. That happens only when you're going fast. Okay, when you're going fast, you don't want to go, really quickly with your feet. You want to go, less quick, and you don't want it such that the motor's going so fast that you can't keep up. All right, that would be like ghost pedaling. Then you don't want to do that. So you have to kind of look at those type of factors. Okay, what about style of bike? All right, you can get bikes that are kind of like beach cruisers, or you can get bikes that are kind of like mountain bikes. I think that's a personal preference of because either one will still be able to go the distance that you want, but it's a style is based on what you feel comfortable with. Okay. All right. So those are some factors you need to look at when you're thinking about a bike and which bike is best suited for what you plan to do. Okay. But I think a lot of times when people are first looking at bikes and they haven't gotten the idea of how these bikes really work, they don't know some of the things that they need to look out for. Okay. Range is a concern. The battery makes a difference. Okay, so for instance, if you have a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery on one bike, another bike has 48 volts, 20 amp hour battery. The difference basically means that 20 amp hour battery is going to have more juice in there, so you can go farther before the battery runs out. All right, so you want to look at that amp hour rating to see if the amp hour rating is either 15 or 20. The 20 will get you farther. Okay, is it a more powerful bike? No, it has nothing to do with the power. It is just strictly that rating tells you that you have more ability to go farther because there's more juice still sitting in there. Okay, you haven't run out of battery power is what it is. Now, the 48 volts versus a 52 volt, in theory, the 52 volt will have a little bit more power to go for you so that you can actually, you get a little bit more oomph out of your bike. Okay, now, does it really do that? Some bikes, no. Other bikes, yes. So, there's some that have like 60 volts now. There's some really high voltage batteries out there. Depends. All right, back to this. Better to have the water than not. I dry out really quick, okay? So, the bigger the battery, the heavier the bike, because the battery is going to be heavier. And of course, it takes longer to charge that battery. So now there are faster chargers available and others not so fast, okay? In general, they tell me that the slower chargers will do better for your battery on the long run for as far as the battery life. Faster chargers tend to wear out the batteries faster. Now, don't ask me why or how. I'm just relaying the information that I've known over time, okay? That typically if you have a really fast charger, it doesn't help your batteries that much more in terms of longevity of life, okay? How long can you keep this battery before it just finally dies on you? So I remember when I bought a triangle battery for my Rad Rover 5, I bought a unit pack power battery. A lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about those batteries, but they do pretty good. So I had an option whether I wanted I think it was a 2 amp charger or a 3 amp charger, something like that. I chose the slower charger because I figured that would be a little bit better for the battery on the long run. But faster chargers sometimes is necessary if you need to charge it up fast. Like I said, if you're riding to like to the office and you're working, then you got to go home, and you can't charge it for 6 hours or whatever, then maybe that faster charger would be a better choice. So Depends on what you plan to do. Okay, little things like that you have to look out for. Also, in terms of we can go deep into all this, but I think one key thing that you should look for is your brakes. All right, some brakes are mechanical disc brakes, others are hydraulic brakes. In general, hydraulic brakes are better. Okay, because it will grip on and stop your bike a lot quicker than a mechanical disc brake. Now, I know this for a fact because my very first e-bike was a mechanical disc brake. It was a Tektro mechanical disc brake, which is pretty good. It was on the Rad Rover 5 that I had. And I remember I was going down a bike path and I'm squeezing on the brakes because I see these two ladies who are eating up the entire bike path. They have two dogs. They're eating up the path. I hit them with the bell. They're not moving. Okay, so I got to slow down. I'm not stopping because this is not stopping fast enough for me. I ended up having to go off onto the grass, which is actually kind of closer to a ditch, just to avoid hitting the dogs and the people. Okay, now it was slowing down, but not slowing down fast enough. That was the day that I said I got to buy some hydraulic brakes. So I initially started out with the hydraulic disc calipers, which I had installed on the bike. I think it was about $135 or something like that, just for the calipers. It helped in the sense of not having me daily adjust the brakes, but it didn't stop as well as true hydraulic disc brakes. Okay. Now I realized what it could do because the very next bike I had was the Magicycle Cruiser. That had mechanical disc brakes as well. And then Magicycle sent me a true hydraulic disc brake setup. So I changed out the brakes on that, and it was night and day. So even though the mechanical disc calipers, which you still use as a cabled system that was put on the Rad Rover, it helped a little bit more. But the true hydraulic disc brake change on the Magicycle Cruiser was night and day. Yeah, I mean, I could lock that thing up, and I could skid the brakes. Yeah, I skid the tires using those brakes. All right, back to this. Hold on. It's a real pain to have a sickness going on while you're trying to do a video. So anyway, look into bikes that have hydraulic disc brakes if you have an option. Okay. In general, hydraulic disc brakes, if you were to just buy a set of brakes, it would cost $200, $225, something like that to do it. So if the bike comes with it and the pricing is within reason, might be worth looking into. Anyways, these are some things that you should look at when you're looking at how do I make a decision which bike I should buy to suit the purposes that I plan to do. Okay? All right, hopefully this has helped you. I can feel the onset of the cough coming on. So I'm going to sign off at this point. But yeah, more videos to come. Hopefully this antibiotics, I'm looking at it here, will help me out, and then maybe I can do regular videos again. So I think the weather is going to be a little bit better next week, and then it's going to hit some rain. But I'm still hoping to be able to get out there. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now that I was trying to get out there, but you can see I still have some problem. Anyways, if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Oh, and by the way, thank you. We've passed 17,000 subscribers. I'll talk to you guys next time. Yeah, it's terrible.